If you always feel behind in life, you may be comparing yourself to an invisible timeline. It hurts. It says you should have a career by now, a relationship by now, and certainty by now. Every day, nobody handed you this schedule officially, but somehow it feels like a law. Pressure grows. You look around, and everyone seems further ahead, calmer, richer, and more complete. Shame follows. Then your own life starts feeling late, even when nothing is actually due. Comparison lies. This anxiety has a name: life timeline anxiety, the fear of missing your expected life. Context matters. It is not just ambition. It is panic dressed like self-improvement. Time bends. The painful part is believing your worth expires if success arrives too slowly. You adapt. So you measure yourself by age instead of direction, values, or growth. Growth counts. And that measurement can make a living life feel like a failed race. Truth helps. Most people carry a private schedule for when life is supposed to happen. It hurts. Graduate by this age, earn this much, marry by then, buy a home after that. Every day, the schedule can come from parents, culture, movies, school, religion, or social media. Pressure grows. At first it seems helpful because it gives life a clean structure. Shame follows. But real life is not clean, and timing is rarely equal for everyone. Comparison lies. Some people start with more money, support, confidence, health, or luck. Context matters. Others carry trauma, debt, caregiving, illness, confusion, or years of survival mode. Time bends. The timeline ignores all of that and still demands the same results. You adapt. That is why it feels unfair and strangely personal at the same time. Growth counts. You are judged against a schedule that never asked what your life actually required. Truth helps. Comparison makes the anxiety louder because you see other people's outcomes without their context. It hurts. You see the engagement photo, not the years of loneliness before it. Every day, you see the promotion, not the burnout, family help, or lucky timing behind it. Pressure grows. You see the house keys, not the loan, inheritance, debt, or sacrifice. Shame follows. Social media compresses 10 years of someone's life into one impressive image. Comparison lies. Then your brain compares that image to the messiest parts of your present. Context matters. This is not a fair comparison, but emotionally it feels convincing. Time bends. Your private uncertainty starts competing with someone else's public highlight reel. You adapt. The more you scroll, the more your life feels like evidence against you. Growth counts. And the timeline ghost whispers that everyone else got the instructions except you. Truth helps. Family questions can make the invisible timeline feel even more official. It hurts. When are you getting married, buying a house, having kids, or choosing a real career? Every day, even loving questions can sound like reminders that your life is running late. Pressure grows. Culture also teaches that certain ages should come with certain achievements. Shame follows. 30 means stable, 25 means ambitious, 40 means established, and uncertainty means danger. Comparison lies. But those rules were built for different economies, families, bodies, and histories. Context matters. Housing costs changed, jobs changed, relationships changed, and mental health language changed. Time bends. Still, many people blame themselves for not fitting an outdated map. You adapt. The map may be old, but the shame feels current and sharp. Growth counts. That shame can turn normal uncertainty into proof that something is wrong with you. Truth helps. Feeling behind often creates shame, and shame steals the energy needed to move forward. It hurts. You think you need pressure, but too much pressure can freeze action. Every day, the mind says catch up, catch up, catch up, until starting feels impossible. Pressure grows. Big life goals become emotional threats instead of meaningful directions. Shame follows. Then procrastination appears, not because you do not care, but because you care too much. Comparison lies. Avoiding the goal gives temporary relief, but it also feeds the feeling of being behind. Context matters. Now the anxiety has evidence. See, you are still not moving. Time bends. This creates a loop of comparison, shame, avoidance, and deeper comparison. You adapt. The loop can make years feel wasted, even when you were surviving or learning. Growth counts. To break it, you have to separate being late from being human. Truth helps. Real life does not unfold like a school syllabus with perfect chapters. It hurts. People change careers, recover from losses, restart after relationships, and learn slowly. Every day, some seasons are for building, but some seasons are only for getting through. Pressure grows. A pause is not automatically failure. Sometimes it is repair. Shame follows. A detour is not proof you are lost. Sometimes it prevents a worse road. Comparison lies. Starting over does not erase the life you already lived. Context matters. Your timeline may be slower because you were carrying things other people never saw. Time bends. That does not make your progress fake. It makes your context different. You adapt. The question is not why am I not where they are. Growth counts. The better question is what direction is actually honest for me now. Truth helps. Timeline anxiety pushes you toward borrowed goals instead of chosen values. It hurts. You may chase milestones because they prove you are not failing publicly every day, but a milestone can be impressive and still not belong to your real life. Pressure grows. The cure begins by asking which goals are truly yours. Shame follows. Do you want the house, or do you want safety and stability? Comparison lies. Do you want the title, or do you want purpose, mastery, and enough money? Context matters. Do you want the relationship, or do you want love, partnership, and peace? Time bends. When you name the value, you can choose a path without copying someone else's age markers. You adapt. Values create direction, while timelines create panic. Growth counts. Direction is healthier because it can adapt when life changes. Truth helps. Progress should be measured by alignment, not by whether you beat a deadline. It hurts. Are your choices moving you closer to the life you actually respect? Every day? Are you becoming more honest, capable, calm, connected, or financially stable? Pressure grows. Those measurements are quieter than announcements, but they are more useful. Shame follows. A small, consistent step can matter more than a dramatic milestone you cannot maintain. Comparison lies. The timeline asks what age you are. Your life asks what direction you are facing. Context matters. One creates panic, the other creates agency. Time bends. Agency returns when you choose one next step instead of judging your whole life. You adapt. The next step might be a budget, application, conversation, boundary, habit, or rest. Growth counts. Rest counts too, if exhaustion is what has been blocking movement. Truth helps. Releasing the timeline does not mean giving up on ambition. It hurts. It means removing the shame that was pretending to be motivation. Every day, you can want more without treating your current self like a failure. Pressure grows. You can be late to an expectation and still be early in your real story. Shame follows. You can grieve lost time without deciding the future is already ruined. Comparison lies. A life can change quickly after years that looked stuck from the outside. Context matters. Many breakthroughs are invisible until the moment they become obvious. Time bends. So do not confuse a quiet season with an empty one. You adapt. The timeline ghost loses power when you stop treating it like your judge. Growth counts. It becomes just a story you inherited, not a sentence you must obey. Truth helps. If you feel behind, pause before you punish yourself. It hurts. Ask whose timeline you are using and whether you ever chose it. Every day, ask what your life has actually required from you so far. Pressure grows. Ask what value is underneath the milestone you keep chasing. Shame follows. Then choose one honest next step that respects your real circumstances. Comparison lies. You are not behind everyone. You are inside a life with different conditions. The goal is not to win someone else's race. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself for a schedule that never knew you. You are not late to your life if you are finally learning how to live it honestly. The timeline was never the truth. It was only pressure wearing a clock.